Hey guys, it's Charlie. Today is Thursday on Pagan Perspective Subs Week, and today we're going to be talking about how to balance the learning and studies of your craft. So this question came from someone who is kind of really interested in all different sorts of things and really finding really intense need to learn about all of these different things. How do I really balance all of that? How do I juggle it? How do I figure out what it all means and how it relates to me? And I was at this point at one point myself. And it was like, oh, I'm really interested in divination, and how do I, I gotta find out and I gotta memorize what all of these different crystals mean. I gotta memorize what all of these runes mean and what all of the decks of all of the tarot cards mean. And I have to learn about all the medicinal and magical properties of herbs, and I have to do this and I have to do that, and I have to, it's a lot on your plate, even specifically in Wicca. And this person is looking at all different facets of occultism, so it can be very overwhelming. And it wasn't until I finally just said fuck it, threw out the book, and focused on, I'm going to connect to each of these specific things, and I'm going to find out what it means for me. And that's what my practice is going to be. I've been accused of picking and choosing my beliefs, and I don't believe in hell, I don't believe in Satan, and I don't believe in demons. And I've gotten ridiculed by by pagans and Christians alike. Like, how can you not, the duality, blah, blah, blah. And I don't necessarily view the world as that kind of duality. So I do. I pick and choose different things based on what I can align with. One thing that I will say that I recommend to everyone is don't choose a path and try to mold your beliefs to that path. Like, don't try to fit a square peg in a round hole. Choose a path that's kind of got blurred edges a little bit and add to it based on what you believe and what you feel inside and what really feels like it's your personal truth, because everyone's truth is different. So I'm completely turned off to the idea of looking in books. I used to do this too. I used to look in books. I had 5 books. Okay, all 5 of these books, there's 3 of them say that the element of air is east, and 2 of them say that the element of air is south. Which one is it? And then, 6 books here, 4 of them say that Sunday is good for this kind of magic and aligned with this particular deity, and then one says it's aligned with this deity and for this kind of magic, and the other one is different. And it was just too much to sit there and try to really memorize everything and reconcile everything and make sure that it was accurate. So here's the thing. It doesn't have to be accurate for someone else. It has to be accurate for yourself. So one thing that my mentor had me do is spend 1 week with each of the 5 elements, earth, air, fire, water, spirit, 1 week with the god, and 1 week with the goddess, and figure out, for me, what is my truth? What makes me say, aha, I get it, and what makes me really feel like, yes, this is for me, instead of sitting there and memorizing correspondence charts and figuring out okay, I can't use this stone for this purpose because it says that it's not like that, and I have to use the color this for this purpose because that's what the book says. No. You have to figure out, what does this color represent to me? What does this stone represent to me? Obviously, when you're mixing herbs, you do have to be careful, because if you mix specific herbs together, they can be toxic. So in that case, it's good to be educated. But as far as making sure that you can really get all of that information and understand it and be able to practice it and become kind of an expert on it, you need to step back and figure out, what is it to me? Really spend time with one thing at a time. If you want to really, say someone wants to learn about herbs, spend 1 week just really immersing yourself in aloe vera, and what is this good for, and what are its magical properties, and what are its medicinal properties. And then at the same time, really physically, experientially spending time with aloe. What does aloe feel like to me? Does aloe feel like it would make me very energized if I made a cream to go under my eyes, that I would be really, so for me, maybe aloe represents energy and kind of that boost and that vitality. But for someone else, maybe it means kind of like relaxing and serenity and calming down, which is like the complete opposite. So my advice for someone who's kind of trying to balance learning about something is learn historical, learn other people's points of view, yes, but the most important thing is not learning conceptually, because if you wanted to learn conceptually, you could just go to any other organized religion out there and sit and have them tell you this is how it is and this is why. Instead, learning experientially is the most important thing, really experiencing it. One thing that I did, like most people that I know, like they associate like north, I think is, in most people's practices, north is earth, south is fire, east is air, and west is water, I think. For me in my practice, air is north, earth is east, water is west, and south is fire. So it's different, but the way that I could come to that was being able to spend time with each specific element and connect myself to that element and ask it, what direction are you in my practice? What direction or what element or what attributes do you have for me in my practice? And that goes with like all practices alike that deal anything with the occult, is I guess your energies coupled with the energies of whatever you're working with are going to create something slightly different than my energies coupled with that same thing. It's going to be different based on your own life experiences and all of that stuff. So for me, it's really, really less of a matter of sitting down and memorizing and figuring out, okay, this is why this is like this, and more of a matter of getting out, really getting your hands dirty and, okay, this is how this works for me in my practice. And from that level, really, when you get to that point and you are able to experience those things, that's when it becomes like you just grow so fast, because then, and it's so much easier to, like, when I was doing it before, like, okay, I have to have this color for this element for this direction, because it's what the book said, I constantly had to be going back to my old book of shadows and being like, okay, what is this, what is this? Now, because of what I've known all along intuitively, that for me, air is north and its colors are like white and blue and clear, or like, you know, like a misty gray, I don't have to go look in those books anymore, because for me, it's all right up here and it's all in here because I aligned with it intuitively. It's just something that my soul just knew. So obviously there are going to be some things that you're going to need to learn from books. Like I said, with the medicinal properties of herbs, some of them are dangerous, some of them are toxic, some of them have an effect sort of like sleep aids. So you obviously wouldn't want to be taking that particular herb before going to work or before driving a car or something like that. So some of the things you're going to have to get from books. Some of the history about things you're going to have to get from books, just because, like, okay, this is how it was practiced in the past. But for me, I guess my practice is more of do it yourself, kind of build your own practice type craft. And craft is a very fitting word because I'm crafting my craft. I'm crafting it based on my own intuition, what my soul is telling me is right for me, and it's not going to be necessarily the same for you, but I guess really connecting and having that personal connection and sitting down and spending time with whatever it is you're learning about, spending time with tarot cards or spending time with this or that. But from the standpoint of, yes, I do want to learn, say you do really want to learn what's in the books, then one topic a week or one topic every 2 weeks, and only read about that one topic. Don't get sidetracked with other stuff. Sit down and, okay, this week I'm going to learn all about crystal grids. I'm not going to learn about anything else but crystal grids. You got your notebook and your notes, you can take your notes and you can read about what the crystal grids are, and then also devote some time to at least spending time with certain crystals. Say you're doing crystal grids. Spend time with certain crystals and what they represent to you, and that's how you would use them in your practice. So one thing at a time, don't overload yourself, don't go out and buy. I did the same thing. I've got so many books, and I would buy them like 5 or 6 at a time because I was like, oh, this book looks really good, this one has good information, and then you have all this information and you're reading them all at the same time. So then when you want to go back, like, where did I see that one thing that I didn't write down because I don't cite my sources? I think it was in this book, but it could have been in this other book because I was reading like 5 books at the same time and it's just too much. So focus one thing at a time. Patience truly is a virtue, especially in spiritual growth. it's all about patience and being patient and allowing yourself and your mind and your ego to be able to absorb what your spirit is telling you to learn and pulling you to. So patience and working slowly and deliberately and making sure you learn everything that you can experientially and conceptually for one particular subject, then move on to the next. And you might want to first start with the basics. In pretty much anything dealing with the occult, there's always going to be something with the elements. So maybe spending 1 week with each of the elements and really just focusing on that particular element and writing down like, okay, today I spent time with air and this is how it felt and this is how it made me feel. And then slowly you progress into the more advanced stuff. And I can tell you, when I first started like following this path when I was younger, and then even when I picked it back up a few years ago, it was like, oh my gosh, there's so much to learn and I just want it all now. Like I want it to be like, if you guys have ever seen that show, The Journey of Alan Strange, it used to be on Nickelodeon. He was this alien and he could just put his hand on top of a book and then he would like, within like 5 seconds, have read the entire book simply by like feeling it. And I wanted to be like that, where I could just put my hand on the book and just get all the information I needed from the book and it would just be logged in my long-term memory. But it doesn't work like that. We have to sit down, we have to open the books, and we have to go on the websites and watch the videos, and then we also have to be with whatever it is we're learning and figure out what does it mean to me. And you're going to come across stuff that you don't agree with in books. I'm telling you right now, don't force yourself to believe something where if you read it and you're like, what the fuck? Don't force yourself to believe it, because it's not going to be true for you. No matter how much you try, it's not going to be true for you. Until a couple of years down the line, maybe you experience different things and it does change your perception about that particular topic. But don't try to force yourself to believe something just because a book told you or some spiritual master said that this is the way it is, because it's different for everyone. So my tips: learn one thing at a time and give yourself patience. Learn it conceptually and experientially. Read about it and also get out and experience it. And don't try to force your beliefs and fit your beliefs. Don't try to fit a square peg in a round hole, because that's not going to work and you're not going to get anything out of it except for frustration. So hopefully this was helpful. I know I was really talking fast. I don't know what's going on with me today. I might be overly caffeinated or just feeling the energies of the solstice because I'm filming this on Yule. But blessed be everyone. I love you and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.